The story for today comes from the Reddit user korrin. Never look in the backseat. I live in a rural farming community. Almost everything is surrounded by large cornfields. Now, I've heard my fair share of rumors and myths regarding the fields, but I'm not particularly superstitious, or at least I wasn't. I was driving back home after taking my daughter Salem to a doctor's appointment. She's only 4 months old, so we still have to go to checkups for her. It's the time of the year when the corn stalks are taller than my car. When it's light out, I do really enjoy the drive. It's calming and beautiful. It was dark out though, and the stalks looked like they were reaching for my car. There's kind of a rule here that when it's dark out, you shouldn't look into the corn. I don't know why that's a rule, but I followed it to a T that night. My stomach was in knots and I kept my eyes firmly on the road ahead of me. Salem began crying. That's normal for her, she's a fussy baby. And she is not a big fan of the car. I dug through her bag in the seat next to me for her favorite toy, a little stuffed Mothman that my sister got for her as a joke. With a name like Salem, she's regularly getting stuffies like that. I reached back to drop the toy into her car seat. As I did so, my head turned towards the fields. For just a split second, I saw eyes. I immediately turned my attention back to the road. My heart was pounding, but I was trying to be rational. The eyes had flashed like a cat, but entirely too big. I swallowed down my fear. I was being rational. It was definitely a cat and nothing more. Salem stopped crying. She actually started laughing. No one had ever made her laugh before, neither me nor her mother. I looked into the rearview mirror and found those eyes looking back at me again. There's a second part of the rule. If you do look into the corn, don't look in the back seat. I ignored that rule. My daughter was in danger. It didn't matter that she was laughing. Every poison can look like a precious fruit sometime. I slammed on the brakes and whipped around. There was nothing there. Salem went back to her forlorn crying. I breathed a sigh of relief, then looked around. There was nothing. I continued on down the road. Salem's little screams were a blessing. It meant she was safe. I glanced up into the rearview mirror to check up on her. But there were those eyes. I had no time to react before calloused long fingers were around my neck, and I blacked out. When I awoke, it was bright out. I was still in the car in a ditch on the side of the road. Police and ambulances surrounded my vehicle. My ears were ringing. Someone was trying to help me out of the vehicle. When I got out, I saw a man holding Salem's car seat. His eyes flashed. The eyes from the night prior. Salem was laughing. I snatched my baby away from him, pulling her from the car seat so I could hold her to my chest. She immediately started sobbing. When I looked up from her, the man was gone. But when I looked into the fields, they no longer seemed empty. The end. This has been Gray Stories. I hope you liked them. Good night.